Hey, it's Jay, and it's time to jabber. Hello to you, and welcome to this week's episode. This week, I was going to talk about bisexuality after watching Shane Dawson's video where he came out as a bisexual man. And there were a couple of bits in the video that actually got me thinking. He said he wished that he was actually gay, because then he had a particular label. He fought against the idea of being bisexual because it's so misunderstood. And I was going to make a whole video about bisexuality and everything I knew about it, and then I actually realised that I actually don't know a lot myself. All I know about bisexuality really is from what I've seen from YouTubers that I follow. RJ of Will and RJ on his The Not Adam channel. He's done various videos about bisexuality, and his series Ask a Bi Guy, really informative. Connor Manning, I first saw him on Tumblr. It was a picture set where it was him basically going, oh my god, about pictures about cute guys, and then pictures of Natalie Dorman, I think that's her name, and I just thought, wow, he sounds like that's cool. Then I subscribed to his YouTube channel, and he's talked about being bisexual and bits like that as well, and now Shane Dawson, and that's really all I knew. And I thought, that's really bad, that's really, really bad. So I thought I would know more. Basically, my knowledge is that bisexuality, bi meaning two, meaning that you are attracted to both men and women, male and female. And beyond that, I didn't really have a lot of knowledge. So I've gone onto my laptop, which I've got set up just here, and there was a few bits that I've picked out that I thought, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So I'm just going to put these bits together. A lot of it, I'm getting from the internet, so as we all know, everything we read on the internet is absolutely true. Yeah, right. So if I get anything wrong, and I apologise for that, check your sources. I've gone through a few sites, so I've got a bit of an idea, but if I get something wrong, I apologise now. So, bisexuality, romantic attraction toward both male and females. Yeah, I knew that. Or, and this is what one website said, any sex or gender identity. Now that's where it got a bit confusing for me, because that's what I thought pansexuality was, and it did go on to sort of say about pansexuality, but I thought bisexuality was male and female, pansexuality was any gender identity. Because there were, when you start digging into it, there's so many categories that people can put themselves into, so many labels, that it's hard actually for anyone, I think, to keep up. I mean, when I was at college, it was LGBT. Since then, it's we had in fact, no, when I was in college, it was LGB. That was it. Later, the T came along, and then there's been I's and Q's and various other ones as well. The word queer has come back into use. There are so many categories that people identify with, and I can only say that that's a good thing, really, because if you're not comfortable saying I am heterosexual or homosexual, bisexuality is that huge area in between. I mean, I was aware of the Kinsey scale, I think it is. I'm just going to check that. Yeah, the Kinsey scale, but I didn't really understand it. Basically, what the Kinsey scale is that it is a scale from 0 to 6, with 0 being exclusively heterosexual, and 6 being exclusively homosexual, and 1 to 5 in between being varying degrees, I suppose, of bisexual. And the good thing about the Kinsey scale is that you can define yourself on it generally, but then you can define yourself on it at different periods in your life. Thinking back to when I was at university, I definitely wasn't a 0 or a 6. I was somewhere in the middle because I was finding myself. So, you know, it's a really interesting tool, the Kinsey scale, where you can put yourself, as I say, at different times in your life, because that's another thing that I'm learning more about, is that people are fluid in their sexuality. People can be fluid in their gender, and that can only be a great thing. I think we need to be more open as a society and more willing to accept that whatever people want to do with their lives, as long as it's between two consented adults, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Something else that I found interesting, and I'm just going to try and find it again, is that the terms heterosexual and homosexual and bisexual only came about really in the 1800s. That's not that long ago, really. They only were coined in the 19th century. Before that, I've been doing a bit of research and I can't actually find what the terms were before that, if indeed there were terms, because if you look back at history, you know, the Romans and well, all the ancient civilizations really, then you see depicted in their art and depicted in their literature and everything else, examples of men being with men and women being with women and men being with women and men, and you know, everything. It's there. So, you know, the terms heterosexual, homosexual and bisexual are, you know, fairly modern when it comes to etymology, I think is the correct word, of, you know, where the words come from. Just going to go into something else that I've seen. Yeah, and where is it? Here it goes. The noun, this is for heterosexual, really didn't come into use until the 1920s and wasn't really common until the 1960s. That's only, what, 55 years ago when that term became common usage. You know, before that, did people just let people get on with it? I don't know. You know, I've realised that I've got so much to learn. There are so many sexual orientations. There's so many gender identities. There's so much that people can put themselves into. There was something else actually from the Kinsey themselves said. Where is it? I read it before. Here we go. The world is not to be divided into sheep and goats. It is a fundamental of taxonomy that nature rarely deals with discrete categories. So why do we, as humans, why do we try and pigeonhole people, try to categorise people? People make presumptions about me, about my sexual orientation, and if people ask me, I will tell them. Or if it comes up in conversation, naturally, I will make it clear as to how I identify. And yet, people, as I said, presume things. And for those people, I just like playing with them. People I work with, we went out on a staff do once, and I got a wee bit tipsy. No, scratch that, I got absolutely blotted. And no doubt, suspicions were raised, if not, or confirmed maybe. But then recently I made sure I was seen by people from work with one of my good female friends, just because none of them have ever said anything, and I like to sort of make them think, oh, are we presuming something here? Is he this? Is he that? You know, and actually thinking about it now, should I be doing that? Because if they're just not asking, maybe they're just accepting for whatever I am, and maybe it doesn't matter. I've just come to that realisation myself, that maybe me trying to mess with them, trying to throw them off the scent, well, I'm not trying to throw them off the scent, me trying to just mess with their idea of what I am, maybe I shouldn't be doing that, because maybe they've just accepted me for what I am, and because they haven't asked, or because they don't need to talk about it, it doesn't matter. You know, it's really difficult to know what's going on in other people's heads. It's really difficult to know what's going on in your own head sometimes. And my head's just about confuddled by all of this, so I'm going to leave it there. I've really have jabbered on today, and I hope some of it makes sense. And I'm actually going to go back onto the internet in a little bit, or onto the laptop here, and try and educate myself a bit more on it. I think it's something we should all do. We should all educate ourselves, or try to educate ourselves, so that we can be as accepting as we can be. That's all I'm going to say for this week. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.